The American Revolution was an act of rebellion by the British colonies in America. The colonies were reacting to the oppression that they felt by their ruling government in England, King George III. The English was taxing and passing other oppressive laws concerning the colonies. The big cry from the colonies was no taxation without representation. As time went by, it became evident that the situation was not going to resolve without bloodshed. The television show The Walking Dead closely mirrors the American Revolution. In this show, there's a powerful ruler named Negan who, along with his followers, the Saviors, are using other communities for everything they can get. Negan and the Saviors demand that each community give them a portion of their supplies, crops, animals, scavenged items, or he will kill someone to get them to do his will. The characters on the show are also very similar to the important people who were key during the American Revolution. In addition to the characters, there were key battles during the American Revolution that are similar to the battles fought on The Walking Dead. Alexandria, the hilltop, the kingdom, and the oceanside are like the colonies, and the sanctuary is like England. The British sent a message to the colonies through imposing taxes, much how like Negan was taxing the communities in The Walking Dead. The Battle of Lexington and Concord was the beginning battle, or the shot heard around the world. This was similar to when Negan made his first appearance. After he killed Abraham and Glenn, the group and the other communities knew that they had to go against Negan. Washington crossed the Delaware River to fight the Battle of Trenton, and then soon after won Princeton. This asserted the colonies' control and unity of their troops and boosted the morale of their soldiers. This was very much like the organized way that Rick and the group took out all the lookout points and then stormed the survivors' strongholds and asserted their control in the area and their unity of the different groups. Negan is like King George III of England, who was accused of misusing the colonies. The saviors are like the British soldiers. The leaders and the saviors are like the British generals. Rick is like George Washington. Washington was the elected leader of the group to lead the people in battle against England. He did accept and became the general and leader of the colonial army. Rick was also a leader early on, but didn't have to be persuaded to become the rebellion's leader. He eventually accepted this role. Glenn is like Nathan Hale, who was a spy for the colonies. Hale was captured and hung by the British. As for Glenn, he would scout out areas early on, and he was killed by Negan. Just like hanging would have been in public, Glenn was killed in front of the people that were the leaders of the rebellion. His death would teach them a lesson that rebellion was no use. Maggie is like Thomas Jefferson. She has become one of the main leaders of the rebellion, or a founding father, as Jefferson did. Jefferson helped to motivate the colonists to break away from England and to create a new independent nation. Michonne is like Thomas Paine, because she really helped everyone realize that they had to fight back against Negan. Many of the people were ready to just give in to Negan. However, Michonne spoke to everyone, and especially Rick, to make them all know that living under oppression is no way to live. Paine was crucial to getting the American ready to go against the king. Paine spread the information about revolt through the papers that were called Common Sense. Darryl is like a great, dependable general, like Ethan Allen. In the Revolution, Allen was an American giant who led a troop of soldiers over a wall at Fort Ticonderoga. He was able to overtake the fort. Darryl is a real working leader. He can move through an area and completely take over. He was able to ruin the stronghold of the Saviors by breaking down the walls, much like Allen going over the wall. Eugene is like Benedict Arnold, who betrayed the colonists. Unknowing to the Americans, he sided with the British and gave them information about what the army was planning. Eugene was very much a part of the group in Rick. He was beholden to them for saving him so many times. Yet when faced by Negan, he turned his alliance to Negan. His fear of Negan was too great especially after watching Negan beat his friend Abraham to death with a bat. Carl is like Patrick Henry. Carl just told Negan to take him and kill him if he wants to kill someone. He didn't want to see Negan kill anyone else. Carl told him that he was ready to protect his people. Patrick Henry was a representative from Virginia. His statement, "Give me liberty or give me death," is like a war call for the Americans. Morgan is similar to the Marquis de Lafayette, who came in from France and aided Washington against England. Morgan came in as a loyal friend to Rick and helped Rick rise up against Negan. Morgan was different than the rest of the group. He used a bow staff to fight, which was very different than the group's guns and knives. The character Jesus is very much like Paul Revere. Revere is remembered due to his famous ride to warn the Americans that the British were coming. In The Walking Dead, Jesus is the one that gets information that is necessary for the groups to move around and fight. He has been on multiple missions that have been moving through the area to help his group. Abraham is like a powerful warrior that fights and is killed. He stands strong for the rebellion against Negan and dies with honor. Carol is always a surprise leader and is much more of a fighter that comes and saves the day like they were at Terminus. Sasha is also like a skilled warrior, but then sacrificed herself for the sake of the cause. These two characters are like the Minutemen. The Minutemen were civilian colonists who independently organized to form well-prepared militia companies, self-trained in weaponry tactics and military strategies. They were all skilled fighters that are willing to do everything for the cause. In conclusion, The Walking Dead has so many similarities to the American Revolution. The similarities are the key people, the reasons underlying the rebellion, and some of the battles.